Now, you might think you know your Vauxhalls from your Volvos, but have you ever heard of a Horch? How about a Borgward? No? Well, you should have, because these, my friends, were giants, titans of the road. They were the big cheeses, the head honchos, the absolute business in their day. But today, gone. Vanished. Just faded memories and a few rusting hulks in some dusty barn. Ah, the DeLorean. The car that looked more like a spaceship than a mode of transport, and about as reliable as one too. John DeLorean, the man behind the madness, was a bit of a rock star in the car world. He was the maverick, the rebel, the guy who told General Motors to stuff it and set up his own shop. He poured his heart, soul, and a frankly alarming amount of other people's money into his dream car. A gull-winged, stainless steel-bodied, rear-engined beast that was going to take the world by storm. And for a brief, shining moment, it did. Thanks to a certain time-traveling film franchise, the DeLorean DMC-12 became an icon. But sadly, much like a Hollywood romance, the reality behind the scenes was far less glamorous. Production delays, quality control issues, and financial imprudence meant that DeLorean Motor Company was on shaky ground. DeLorean was eventually acquitted, but the damage was done. His company was bankrupt, his reputation in tatters, and the DeLorean, the car that was supposed to be the future, became a relic of the past. Preston Tucker, now there was a man with a vision. While other car makers were content to flog chrome-laden dinosaurs, Tucker dared to dream of something different, something better. The year was 1948, and America was ready for a revolution. The Tucker 48, with its aerodynamic design, independent suspension, and promise of safety and innovation, looked like it could be just that. The Tucker 48 was packed with features that were unheard of at the time. A padded dashboard, a windshield that popped out in an accident, and even seatbelts. This was a car designed to keep its occupants safe. But the road to automotive utopia is paved with potholes. And for Tucker, those potholes came in the form of the big three General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. They weren't too keen on this upstart with his radical ideas, so they did what any self-respecting behemoth would do. They tried to crush him. A smear campaign was launched, questioning the Tucker 48's safety and viability. The Securities and Exchange Commission, under pressure from interested parties, launched an investigation into Tucker and his company. In the end, only 51 Tucker 48s were ever built. The company went bankrupt, Preston Tucker's name was dragged through the mud, and the car that was supposed to revolutionize the industry became a footnote in automotive history. Pontiac. The name alone conjures up images of muscle cars, of roaring V8s, of tire smoke and teenage dreams. For decades, Pontiac was General Motors' answer to the question, what do young people want? The answer, it turned out, was horsepower. Lots and lots of horsepower. From the GTO, the car that practically invented the muscle car segment, to the Firebird Trans Am, Pontiac built its reputation on building cars that were fast, loud, and undeniably cool. But as the years rolled by and the fuel crises of the 70s gave way to the emissions regulations of the 80s, Pontiac, like a fading rock star, struggled to find its place in a changing world. The cars became smaller, the engines less powerful, and the excitement just wasn't there anymore. Pontiac tried to reinvent itself, but it was a losing battle. The cars were decent enough, but they lacked the soul, the character, the sheer unadulterated coolness of their predecessors. And then came the 2008 financial crisis, and General Motors, facing its own mortality, was forced to make some tough decisions. Pontiac, once the darling of the performance car world, was deemed surplus to requirements. Saab flying high, then crashing down. Most car companies start with cars, not Saab. These Swedes started with aircraft. Saab stood for Svenska Aeroplan Aktiebolaget. During World War II, they made fighter planes. Post-war, they had skilled engineers but no planes to build, so they started making cars, known for quirky design and safety. The thinking man's car, but never mainstream, always the quirky alternative. Years of different parent companies didn't help. By the 2000s, Saab was in financial trouble. Sales slumped, cars felt dated. Saab filed for bankruptcy in 2011. The company that built fighter planes was grounded by the car market. Rover, from British icon to Chinese takeaway. Rover. The name evokes images of stately homes, lukewarm tea, and cars built to withstand British weather. For over a century, Rover was as British as red telephone boxes. From bicycles to cars, Rover became a respected manufacturer. Known for solid build and comfort, they were dependable family cars, like a trusty Labrador, always ready for a seaside trip. But as the century wore on, Rover lost its way. Quality control became an issue. The cars felt outdated. Sold to BMW in 1994, the partnership was rocky. Cultural clashes led to a split in 2000. Rover was sold to British investors for £10. By 2005, Rover was no more. The MG brand was sold to a Chinese company, ending Rover's legacy. Gone but not forgotten. A graveyard of automotive dreams. The automotive world is littered with the corpses of once great brands. Take Oldsmobile, for example. Founded in 1897, they were pioneers with the first mass-produced car with automatic transmission. But by 2004, Oldsmobile was put out to pasture by General Motors. Hudson, known for its innovative designs, merged with Nash Motors in 1954 to form AMC. And Packard, once synonymous with luxury, made disastrous business decisions and was gone by the late 1950s. The automotive landscape is littered with the bleached bones of fallen giants. Could any of these defunct brands be brought back from the dead? Let's start with Pontiac. Imagine Pontiac returning with sleek electric sports cars, cars that recapture the spirit of the GTO and Firebird. Then there's Saab. Known for quirky designs and safety, Saab could thrive in the electric era. Imagine stylish, safe Saab EVs. And what about DeLorean? The brand synonymous with time travel could return with an electric twist. Imagine a DeLorean EV with iconic gull-wing doors and a powerful electric powertrain, the perfect car for traveling in style. So why do car brands fail? Is it bad luck, bad timing, or just plain bad management? Well, as with most things in life, it's usually a combination of factors. Sometimes it's simply a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Economic downturns, oil crises, and global pandemics have a nasty habit of separating the wheat from the chaff, and even the most well-established brands can be caught out by a sudden shift in the market. Then there's the issue of competition. The automotive world is a cutthroat business, and for every success story, there are countless casualties. For every Toyota Corolla sold, there's a less fortunate model that's gathering dust on a dealer's lot. It's a game of inches, and sometimes even the smallest misstep can be fatal. But perhaps the most common reason for a car brand's demise is simply bad management. Making cars is hard. Making money from making cars is even harder. It requires vision, discipline, and an almost supernatural ability to predict the whims of the market. And sadly, many car companies have been run by people who wouldn't know a balance sheet if it hit them in the face. They've made poor decisions, invested in the wrong technologies, and alienated their customer base with cars that are either too expensive, too unreliable, or just plain too ugly. And in the end, they've paid the ultimate price, oblivion. The automotive industry is at a crossroads. The old order is crumbling, and the future is uncertain. Electric cars, autonomous driving, and the rise of ride-sharing services are all conspiring to upend the status quo. So what does this mean for the car brands of tomorrow? Well, one thing's for sure. The brands that survive will be those that are adaptable, innovative, and perhaps most importantly, customer-focused. They'll need to embrace new technologies, rethink their business models, and, dare I say it, make cars that people actually want to drive. The days of churning out the same old gas-guzzling SUVs are numbered. Consumers are demanding more from their cars. They want efficiency, they want connectivity, and they want vehicles that reflect their values. The brands that can deliver on these demands will be the ones that thrive in the 21st century. But it's not just about technology. It's about storytelling. The most successful car brands are those that connect with consumers on an emotional level. They're not just selling cars, they're selling a lifestyle, an aspiration, a sense of belonging. They understand that a car is more than just a mode of transportation. It's an extension of the driver's personality. So which brands will make it? Which ones will fall by the wayside? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the automotive industry is in for a wild ride over the next few decades. And I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next. A graveyard of automotive ambition, littered with the rusting hulks of forgotten dreams. It's enough to make you weep into your steering wheel, isn't it? But it also makes you think. What will become of the cars we drive today? Will they too end up as museum pieces, curiosities from a bygone era, perhaps? Or perhaps they'll be the ones to make history, to pave the way for a new generation of automotive legends. Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain, the automotive world is a constantly evolving beast, and the only constant is change.